Hi guys, thank you so much for jumping on. This is Nick and Jen's Monday night call, minus Nick. Poor kid is not feeling very well. So we'll just continue on and do our Zoom. In preparation for this call, I'm really excited to share this info with you because I feel like it's still something that I need to better myself at. And I think all the way up the chain, we all continue to take strides to get better. And that is overcoming cost objection. You're going to hear it all the way to the top. It's so expensive. What do? I don't have the money. I can't do it. It's too pricey, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't get any less frustrating. But what is great is that we know how to, when we learn how to deal with it. And how honestly to help people deal with it. Money's tight. We all get it. We've all been there. We all are there, maybe. But helping people understand that it doesn't always have to be like that. If you really do want to try Plexus, if you really do want to join a team to help pay for your products, whatever it is, if you really want it, you're going to find a way. Or if you really don't, you're going to find an excuse to not. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I have, for those of you that don't know, I've been in retail for 15 years, and you have heard every single excuse under the sun. I'll wait. It's a little bit too much, or just whatever. You hear every single excuse. It's too much money. It's too much money. Well, if it really meant that much to you, then, the cost didn't really matter. And Plexus, we just have to remember that we have to remember that our belief stems from something concrete, and that is products that work. Not only that products that work, but a company that takes care of us head to toe. They really do care about us, and I feel like all of us can attest to that. So we'll jump right in. In watching a couple of videos in preparation for this call, I watched two that really stuck out to me. Both went really deep into this topic. One was by Emily Roberts, and I just found it by typing cost objection Plexus into YouTube. And the other one was by Tara Castaneda, who is a diamond also in Plexus. And they both cover two vastly different viewpoints on cost objection and how to deal with those. So I kind of want to break it down the way that Tara did. And the way she broke it down was into 4 categories. Helping your customers, your potentials, see the savings. Number 2 is daily, how they can also save money. So say they're looking to buy Plexus, obviously that's why you're here. But how much Plexus costs daily, depending on, the products that they need, based on the concerns that they voiced to you. Number 3, the 3 different ways to shop, and you guys know that those are retail, preferred, and also to become an ambassador. And the 4th point is tell them how they can get their products paid for. That is one of my favorites, and I do not at all mind, not necessarily getting sassy with people, but you kind of have to bring the truth. And sometimes that comes off as sassy, but you can kind of gauge on who you're talking to. If you're talking to your grandma, you don't want to get sassy. But if you're talking to your bestie and they're telling you how much they don't have to spend on Plexus, you can get kind of sassy. So it really depends on your relationship and who you're talking to. So let's talk about point number 1, and that's savings. How much are you going to save by starting Plexus? I can bring myself into this as an example. I am super shameless, and I don't mind admitting where I was prior to Plexus. I was a caffeine addict. You guys, the worst, the worst kind of caffeine addict. I was working a really busy, quote unquote 9 to 5. I did eyebrows at a very busy brow studio. And I was booked from time I walked in to the time I left. Every 20 minutes, I'd see a different person for eyebrows. And that gets exhausting. If you guys have ever worked in the face of people, physically or figuratively, people are exhausting. You have to give, 100% to them all the time. You have to be up and bubbly and explaining and talking and all of this. It's not 1 second is spent down. So again, I was a caffeine addict. I'd average about 2 or 3 large Americanos every single day. That is a lot. And if you guys don't know what goes into an Americano, it's 4 shots of espresso. And I'd get like the fancy flavorings and, you know, all those calorie laden like milk and yuck. So at least 5 times a week, I was doing 2 and 3 large Americanos every day. And it just got to be a lot. Fast forward to Plexus, got on Pinktree, started with the triplex. I rarely needed coffee. I'd still drink it, but I wouldn't finish a large one. In fact, to tell you the truth, and I'm not past TMI, you guys, so please excuse me if you feel like this is, but I would give myself really bad bathroom habits, like going through an entire, just one Americano every day. Like it got so bad. So I was finding myself saving money because I wasn't needing as much caffeine. That is something that I love talking to people about. You know, how much is an Americano every day? 1 Americano every day. That's like $2.50. I was buying 3. That's insane. That's $7.50 on coffee. How much is Plexus? If you guys break it down, if a preferred or even retail, let's talk about that. A triplex combo for retail is $140 a month. If you break that down, it's not even $5 a day. It's like $3.50 on the expensive side. I think it's like $2.75 for preferred. Boom. Numbers don't lie. Like I love bringing that to people because again, numbers don't lie. People know numbers and they love to see the breakdown of things, especially, you know, it's black and white. There's really no argument there. That kind of covers point number 2, their daily savings, how much they would be saving. So say you're a Diet Coke addict. God bless my mother, but that woman can run on Diet Coke. And that's expensive too. You know, they used to go through cases of Diet Coke a month, like Costco cases. Now, you know, the first time I told her how much it was, she really wanted to support me. So she really didn't know if she was going to enjoy the whole system, but she did it. And she was like, man, this is expensive stuff. I hope this is going to work. And I was like, Mom, just challenge yourself. The first week, see if you can get through without a Diet Coke. And the first week, she said that she only had like half or 3/4 of a Diet Coke a day. And she'd go through multiple ones a day through her week. So, you know, just breaking it down like that, whatever their story is important to relate back to the cost objection. You know, you say in your conversation, we'll use Sally as an example for a name. Sally, I totally get where you're coming from. I know, you know, $140 a month sounds kind of pricey, but I just want you to consider like the things or the place that you're coming from. Like, I know you like your Diet Coke, girl, but let's see if we can't get you to like pare back on that some. And the real point you're going to make is when you, again, relate it back to them, bring it back to their habits, what they want to get away from, whether it's caffeine dependence, like I was facing, Diet Coke, sugary drinks with cravings, like whatever it is, relate it back to their story. Number 3 ways to shop. Again, at the beginning of the call, we were talking about retail customers, being a retail customer, which is paying full price. That's the most expensive way to shop, which is exactly what I tell my potentials. Preferred is a 10% discount for the first 4 months, and then the fifth shipment is when your discount goes up to 20, so it doubles, which is what I tell my potentials, almost as good as my wholesale discount. And then, of course, what we enjoy is the discount as an ambassador. You can break all of that information down to them. Of course, they need to know all the information. And this is where you kind of have to break it down for them and you know, find the route that you would like them to take. I usually stress one way or another, whether I want them on my team. I say, you know what, I would really love you to be on my team. And plus, you get an extra discount. Your discount is more than twice that of a preferred customer. Or if I don't necessarily want them on my team, and it's okay to admit that, you know, if you don't necessarily see someone being great on your team or doing well with this, or even if they, you know, if they don't have a good attitude, you all know people that are just negative Nancy's and just not going to bring much to the table. I hate to say it, but again, we're truth bringers, so let's bring the truth. But really being directive in bringing, in telling people whether, this is your discount or this is their discount, whether you want them to be a wholesale ambassador, or not a wholesale ambassador, but someone who enjoys the wholesale discount, or someone who you want to maybe keep on the 60-day money back guarantee side of the bandwagon. And then number 4, again, this is my favorite, you guys, not just telling, but teaching them how they can get their products paid for. Even though we are ambassadors and get that awesome 25% discount, it's still at least $100 a month. And unless we're, working our businesses to get those people paid, or to get those products paid for, again, it's still at least $100 a month. So teach them, ask them if they have any sort of interest in working the business, or asking them too. I love this question when I bring this to people. If I were to teach you how to get your products paid for, would you be interested in learning? A lot of times people are going to say, yeah, you guys. A lot of people will, because who doesn't want, products that have been paid for from their prior month's work? Did you know that only 3 sales of triplex is what it takes to get your products paid for? That is so, I don't want to say easy, but it's so manageable. 3 customers, that's 3 sales of triplex, or whatever your favorite combo is. Mine's triplex forever, but if yours is block and slim, I don't know, whatever it is, pick a combo, be an expert on those products, and jam. It doesn't take a whole lot to reach out and get those customers. Sometimes I don't want to say that it doesn't take a lot, because it really does sometimes, but you guys know what I'm saying. Bring that truth to them, because a lot of people, think that they have to work this business, and they really don't, to get their products paid for. All that really means is you talking to 3 coworkers, talking to your mom, your dad, your cousin, whoever it ends up being. That's 3 sales. And you can tell them about how they can, start to earn more money than just earning the money back that they spent on their products that month. So those are the 4 points basically that Tara Castaneda covered on her video. I wanted to kind of cover the things that Emily talked about in hers, because it takes another direction completely. And she trains us this way, going about cost objection with the feel, felt, found method. If you guys have been around for any amount of time, you've probably heard one of the leaders talk about it. And again, that's the feel, felt, found method. So say you're talking to a potential and they say, I would really love to start on the product, but I just don't have the money right now. Girl, I totally feel you. I was in that place when I started. But after I started with the product, I found that I wasn't spending so much at Starbucks, and I was actually saving money because I wasn't buying 3 Americanos every day. I wasn't eating out as much, or I wasn't buying, I wasn't having the cravings that I was having before. So I found that I was saving a lot more money than I was spending on my previous habits. That's all it is. It doesn't have to get any crazier than that. We just speak to them as our friend, we go to them with the confidence in our products and our pricing, and with our belief in the company and the product, and we bring them exactly what they need to hear. A lot of people don't think about it up here. They don't think about it at all a lot of times, but us bringing it to them is oftentimes the first time that they've ever thought about it that way. And just remembering that you are being that voice of reason and kind of a sounding board to people is a lot of times what they need. They don't know what the breakdown is. They probably have never busted out a piece of paper and a pen and did the math, what the daily breakdown of Plexus products is, or even they probably even haven't brought up their bank statement and, highlighted all of the fast food that they go through and try and spend, that's another one of my favorites. I've challenged a couple of people, and I think actually a couple of them are on this call. Before I started, when I was courting them, we'll call it, before I got them to join the team or do this thing with me. I was like, okay, here's my challenge. It was a couple months that we'd been talking about this, maybe 2 or 3. And I was like, here's what you do. Pull up your bank statement. I want you to highlight all the times that you and your family have gone out to eat. And then see how much of that can go towards your purchase of products, or same with coffee, whatever it ends up being. But it can, be whatever example they come to you with. But that's a great one, because that's another one that is very black and white and obviously numbers oriented. But back to feel, felt, found. Sorry, something just popped up on my screen. That was scary. But feel, felt, found. Feeling where they're coming from, telling them that you have also felt it so you can relate to them, and also that you know what you have found by going through the products, joining. And you can break this down further too and talk about your journey, how you've joined as an ambassador to save the most amount of money, and also how you learned to work your business so that you're earning money, not just so you're earning money towards your products to cover them, but also earning extra money to profit. That is even cooler, I feel like, than getting your products paid for. Again, a lot of people don't realize that you don't have to work your business, that you can just kind of, sit quietly, take your products and enjoy the discount. But a lot of people don't know how simple it is to work your business. So you can kind of determine with whoever you're talking to, whether, they're the type of person that wants to head towards the ambassador side or whether they want to stay as a customer. But going for we really, sorry, I was referring back to my notes. I kind of got lost. But going back to going for the responses that tell us that they're, coming off their medications, coming off of the need for all this caffeine, coming off of having to spend money on fast food because their lifestyle is so busy, whatever it ends up being, going for those texts, you guys, that's the most gratifying part of what we do. And that's why we do what we do every day. Why we are sitting on this very Zoom call, learning how to object their cost objections. And getting them to see exactly how attainable purchasing the products are. Sometimes we have to play our friend's accountant. That's just kind of the way it goes. Giving them challenges like that, breaking it down so that they know that there is a way that they can do this. Maybe they can't do it today. And that's okay. We have to remember, and sometimes we do get really excited, overly so, about making a sale or having a team member join our team. But really what the purpose of us doing this whole thing is changing or providing an opportunity really for people to feel better and for their health and wealth situations to really change. And so if we can remember that, that's really the root of what we're doing this for. And it can be scary objecting their objections because we don't want to sound extra sassy, saucy, whatever you want to call it. We don't want them to not like what we're saying. But a lot of times we just have to, like I said, bring the truth. They don't give a lot of thought. All they know in their head and all they see on paper is a triple digits price tag. And they haven't tried the products yet. So they don't know the value in what we're doing. So we need to highlight the 60-day money-back guarantee. We need to highlight how easy our customer service department is, because you guys, even 6 months ago, it was an hour's wait on customer service on the line. Do you know that it's not even 5 minutes. It's like a minute maybe. They make it so easy. If they don't love it, they can get their money back for 60 days of their product. There's no hoops to jump through. They don't want to make it tough for you or your customers, if they don't feel like it's for them. But remembering who you're dealing with and why you're doing it every day is super important. But also, again, highlighting how easy it is and how simple it is to figure out how, if it is important to them, let's This is great, actually. I like doing this with potentials too. Let's get together next week and talk about how we can save up, or how we can make this a possibility for you. If you guys haven't seen Emily Roberts' Diamond documentary, I urge you strongly to go watch it. That girl, cracks me up, but I love her story because she did not have that $35. She, as an adult, as a mom, she was in her early 20s, and she house sat, pet sat. She did everything that she could because she saw the value in what this company could potentially do for her family. And it clearly paid off. She's a diamond. But, there's all kinds of ways to come to people with this kind of information, you guys. But just remember why you're doing this. It's to help the people that you're talking to every day. And also to show them that it is attainable in some way, shape, or form, really asking the questions, why they want to do it, how they want to go about doing it, and all the questions. just asking every single thing that you can possibly think of to get them to where they want to be. It's just like they talk about in all the training videos, you guys, finding out the people's why who are on your team, why they're doing it, where they want to go. We need to be asking our potentials the same questions so that we can really direct them in the way that they need to be directed. And sometimes that, again, includes playing someone's accountant, breaking it down for them, daily cost, versus what they're paying for at the drive-through, at the coffee shop, not buying junk food at the store, which we all know is like kind of an evil cycle. Just all of those things put together is going to be something to help them. So that is all my notes. I'm sorry that it was kind of jumbled, you guys. I totally had it planned out that Nick and I are going to do this together, but that's what I have for us. I'm going to actually have you guys unmute yourselves. If you have any questions, you can, I saved a few minutes at the end if you guys want to, have like kind of an open conversation about anything that we talked about. I'd love to finish up with that. Any questions? Any specific situations that you guys have come from, heard, experienced that you want to share, like something that you were able to come across and help someone through with cost objections?
There was one situation I had that I say situation like it was like a bad thing, but which last week's Zoom call kind of reminded me of, and I meant to ask last week, but was kind of nervous on like talking because it was my first Zoom call, so I just didn't even want to ask any questions. But I had someone message me about Plexus, and basically she came straight forward and was like, I want to make some money and I want to do it from home. So she was asking me about it, and I told her about the products, and then I told her, there's 11 different ways you can get paid. Like it's a great company to work for because you get commission off your own products. And she kind of was like, I'm fairly interested in it. I've been really busy, but let me get back to you. And she was asking me, like, how do you sell the products? And I told her, I was like, I don't sell, like, I don't like to think that I sell them. I just share my experience with them, basically. So the gist of my question right here is, I felt like, she just wants to make the money, but I had a feeling that she might not be a person that would be willing to try or like believe in the products. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I think at some point all of us will kind of come across those people that you're not quite sure that, either you don't know them very well, or you're not sure that they have, quote, what it takes, which is kind of a myth because I feel like most people have what it takes. They just have to be willing to be coachable, to learn what it takes to be successful. But be upfront. If you have an inkling that someone, may not know, you can always, I love telling people that I'd rather them start as a preferred customer in that case. so that they can enjoy the 60-day money-back guarantee, because you need to know that you love a product before you start representing it to sell it. That is, being a product of the product is number one on our success guide, or a quick start guide in the success kit. And for a reason, we can't very well sell something that share, represent something that we don't 100% believe in. So never be afraid to sway someone away from being on your team if you're not quite sure that they believe in your product yet, because she obviously doesn't. And that's okay. That's not a bad thing. She hasn't tried it. So getting her to try the products before she decides that she wants to represent it is probably what I would do. And hey, that's not a bad choice either, girl, because we get a cash bonus from, putting people or having people buy from us as preferred customers. So, and then flipping them is one of my favorite pastimes. I love taking customers and turning them into ambassadors, even if they're a wholesaler. Because who knows, sometimes even 18 months later, I have customers that are, I'm flipping to ambassadors. So hi, Steph. So it's super fun, kind of figuring out who should be where. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Yes. No. Yes. Thank you.
Cool. Of course. So we were just talking about cost objection and things that we can do to object cost for people that say the companies or the products are expensive, or that they don't have the money right now. Does anybody else have a story that they would like to share really quickly about how they've helped someone overcome cost? I'll share one and we'll just go ahead and wrap it up really quick. Another one of my favorite things to do is when people tell me so triplex is almost always far and away what I recommend to people, because it, as we know, targets the three things that most people complain about, which are inflammation, gut health, and I'm blanking. Someone chime in so I don't look like a moron. Inflammation, gut health, and blood sugar regulation. So triplex is always the first thing that I go towards. If that is too expensive for them, I always pare down and I tell them to start on ProBio and BioCleanse. That's $50. So that cuts the cost almost immediately in half. If that still is more than they can afford, ProBio. So there's always ways that you can still get a sale, but still have them see benefits from. I've done that several times, and that almost always hooks them into later months asking about what else, you would recommend for them to start with. And I, again, will always go back to triplex. So don't be afraid. It's not all or nothing. Don't be afraid to suggest smaller amounts of things when you're talking to potentials. Not just smaller amounts of things, but, like lesser amounts. Products with a lesser price tag, I guess, is what I'm really trying to say. Because again, at the end of the day, that is still a sale in your pocket. Well, I'm going to close it up unless anybody else has something to add. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this Monday and putting up with my antics. You guys are amazing. We'll see you. Danielle, you're more than welcome. I do a team chat for my peeps on Wednesdays at 7:30 on Pacific Standard Time, at 7:30 on Wednesdays. So if you'd like to join, please do. I'll send you the code. So thank you all so much for jumping on this with me. You're amazing. Thank you for carving out the 30 minutes.